Audrey Henley here. So today we're going to talk about character motivation. I have 9 steps to getting to know your characters. And I didn't get this from a book, I actually got these from kind of distilling the idea of stakes and what it means. For a very long time I had trouble understanding what it was meant by stakes. And I think because it's when people say stakes, they actually mean several different things. And every time someone told me I needed to show more character stakes, they always meant something different. So for one of my stories, I really dug in and decided to get at what each character really wanted. And I came up with this list, and I thought it'd be helpful for other writers who also struggle with stakes, what it means, how to get it across in a query, how to get it across in a story, and to think about really the whole character throughout the story. So I did this well after I had drafted a book, but I would certainly recommend this for writers who are just starting a story and want to sort of dig in, get into their characters and understand what's going on in their psyche, and to write consistent character motivations throughout the story. This is something I really struggled with. I would have characters whose motivations would change halfway through the story, and this really isn't a great way to go about writing because readers will really notice when a character changes. I thought this character wanted this and now they want this, and like they're not the same character anymore, and it's true. So these are really important things to think about. Okay, so first thing to think about with character. This really ties into my second as well, so I think I'll talk about them together in tandem. So first is inner desire, and second is outer desire. And this really comes from an idea I really like from Weiland. I'll link to her blog below. It's very extensive and great, and she has a really affordable ebook on character motivation if you're interested. Anyway, her big idea with character motivation is that every character wants something on the outside and on the inside. So the inner desire is something probably psychological, some unmet need they've had since childhood that they can't shake, and it changes everything about their lives and what they're doing. And the outer desire is what they tell themselves they want, and it's also what they show to the outside world. So this is what would be in like the back cover copy. You wouldn't see Hayden wants to help people. I don't know, I guess you could see that, but I think it's more the outer desire that you see. But it's really important to have that inner desire understood as well, because once you have that down, you'll really get a sense for your character and what motivates them besides this outer desire that other people see. Because everyone has an interior life and they have an exterior life. You want to get at both with your characters. That will make for a deep understanding of characters and a more multi-layered story. 3. So following up with the inner desire and outer desire is, I just put stems from, and what this is where that inner desire and outer desire stem from. Usually they stem from the same place, so I just put both there. I think it's really important to have a backstory that makes sense. Usually you want to put this backstory explicitly in the story to help readers understand. I really think it helps readers get an intuitive sense of character and to sort of intuit themselves why a character acts a certain way that makes sense. Sometimes people act really strangely. Like you could have a very narcissistic character, and if you don't explain that they were in showbiz since a young age and the only way they found to love themselves was to think they were attractive or something. I don't know. I haven't really researched narcissistic characters too much, but I mean, I think with that example, you would have to show a little bit of backstory, because otherwise it's just like, this character's a jerk, I don't understand. But if you have a compelling backstory reason why they're the way they are and why they want what they want, that will really help readers connect and understand, no matter how negative their inner and outer desires or just basic character traits are. Like, readers are very understanding if they have a concrete reason why a person is the way they are. 4 is results in. So This is where I write the outer character traits that happen due to the inner and outer desires. So we have the example of a narcissistic character. That would be an outer trait that comes because they want attention. 5 is achievement looks like. This helped me a lot because I think if you have this singular goal each character has, it really helps the reader to have something to grab onto. Like if a character is like, I want this thing more than anything else in the world, and you say that somewhere explicitly in the story, they always have something to grab onto, and they're like, oh, that character's doing that because they want this. If you've ever watched shonen anime, you know what I'm talking about. I'll just use the example of Black Clover, which is this very recent shonen anime that's still airing, and it has this very obnoxious protagonist who, more than anything, wants to be I think the term is Magic King or something like that. He wants this role and position, but he kind of sucks at magic. So he is in constant conflict with what his achievement looks like. But throughout the series, he's like, I want to be the Magic King! And he like says it very loud and like obnoxiously. So that is the most extreme example I can give you of this. And it makes it clear for everyone in the series what exactly this protagonist wants. I want to be the Magic King! And it's just obnoxious, but you can do it to a lesser degree in your story, and it also helps for you as a writer to understand how your main character would define success. To them, and this isn't necessarily true, but to them they think, I'll just be happy if I can do this one thing. So we're at 6 now. The thing we've all been waiting for, the stakes, and what stakes actually are, and what I guess is the most common definition. So stakes is what the character has to lose if they don't achieve the thing they want. Sometimes there can be another set of stakes for the outer desire, and these are the kind of stakes, the outer stakes, that are going to be on your back cover copy, in your query, in your summary. These are the things that readers are most interested in because they're exciting and scary, and this is where the emphasis on stakes comes in, especially in query letters. If you can include the stakes for your main 1 or 2 characters, you're going to have a stronger query letter overall. You're going to have something for agents to grab onto and be interested in. I think the first point can be inner outer desires as sort of a set, and then this can be inner outer stakes as another set. So two peas in a pod. Ooh, 7. 7 is misbeliefs. The lies your characters tell themselves. I love this one. It makes for twisty stories, and it's very true to life. And it sort of has to do with what achievement looks like. A lot of the times, characters think if they just do this one thing, it'll make them happy, and then it doesn't. That is a lie they tell themselves. You had a gymnastics movie, and the main character thinks if they just win the Olympics, all their problems will be solved, they'll feel fulfilled in life, and then when they win, they just feel crappy like always. It's an extreme example, but I think it'd be a good example of a lie someone tells himself. So Hayden, it might be that he believes he's not a worthwhile person if he can't help someone. I know that sounds extreme, but when you get into the psychology of characters, it does get that simple. It's sort of the id stuff, like what's going on in the interior. It's the stuff they wouldn't even tell their psychologist. You get to know that because you're the writer. Okay, 8. 8 is the worst thing your character can imagine. And if you can stick this in your plot outline as the Dark Night of the Soul, you're doing great things. Like, have the worst possible thing happen to your character and see how they deal with it. Like, that is plot gold. Do that. Alright, here's probably one of the most important steps. 9. How your character changes by the end of the story. What change have they circled around and gotten to by the end of your story? So let's just take these very literally and pretend like every time the worst thing your character can imagine is going to happen to them before they overcome. And that's a guaranteed way to make sure your character changes. Because if the worst thing happens to them, like everyone who imagines the worst thing happening to them, you think you can't recover from that. But of course, by the end of the story, they have to. Like, that's the narrative arc. So what happens to the character that makes them realize they can overcome this very difficult thing that they thought they couldn't? And a lot of the times, in order to change, your character has to overcome the misbelief they have in step 7. So this misbelief has to go away. Something in the circumstances forces the character to overcome this and realize this isn't actually true and I can do this. There's this inner moment where they change and deal with it. So that's sort of the inner strength moment in the Save the Cat beat sheet, and it is proven in the climax when what the character thinks they can do when they have that inner strength moment actually happens, and proves that, wow, because I changed, I can actually do this, and it happened. Let's use the Hunger Games. So by the end of the story, Katniss sort of realizes that she can have a bigger impact than just on District 13. She sees that there are ways to fight against the Capitol's power, and she and Peeta, do that very thing and then end up both winning. And they've kind of proven, like, we actually can make a difference and do things that Capitol would rather not have us do. And that's how Katniss changes by the end. So that's all I've got for you on character motivation. Please comment below if you found any of this helpful. Let me know how it goes for you. Like, if you try these steps and go ahead and try to outline your characters, let me know how it goes. Also, do you have any other little steps you do in order to get to know your characters and your character arcs? Leave that down below too. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.